Steve Garcia. What's going on, my MMA boxing addicts? We just wrapped up UFC Fight Night taking place at the Apex in Las Vegas. The main event, Steve Garcia versus David Onama. And my goodness, my friends, we got three subjects that I want to talk about that went down at tonight's card that I think are some of the most important subjects to talk about tonight. Okay? I first want to start off with Steve Garcia getting the first round TKO stoppage in 3 minutes. An absolutely dominant performance. He came in here and displayed against David Onama. What was our little secret that we talked about in Monday's video that we specifically dropped just for Steve Garcia? If you didn't watch it, that little secret was the experience that Steve Garcia has gotten working with Danny Romero, former IBF flyweight world champion, former IBF junior bantamweight boxing world champion. Yes, there's a reason why Steve Garcia got absolutely amazing stand-up boxing, bro. Working with ex-world champions like that for years growing up. A lot of people underestimated this guy's striking, man. He came in there and got it absolutely done in phenomenal fashion. But with the win streak that he's on now, there's no denying that this man needs to be fighting people up in the top 10 of the UFC rankings, all right? The question is, who's he going to fight next? He calls out Max Holloway for the BMF title as he gets the mic, all right? And shout out to him, by the way, too, man. That last little motivational speech that he gave to Era, he talked about how his buddy just died 3 weeks ago in New Albuquerque, New Mexico, getting shot in the head and everything like this, man. Shout out to him for doing that and displaying great character. But he calls out Max Holloway, and in my opinion, that fight, it's just not going to happen, my friends. Maybe 2 fights from now, I just don't see that that's a realistic fight. Even though for the BMF title, a kid from New Albuquerque, New Mexico, a fighter like Steve Garcia, it does make sense. But of course, people want to see him against higher rankings first. So you got the number 10 ranked fighter, Gene Silva, who's a possible opponent for him. A lot of people are talking about him, okay? But what I thought was interesting, and somebody he should have called out that was right there with David Onama, Yusuf Zalal. Yusuf Zalal was David Onama's main training partner for this whole camp leading up to this fight, okay? David Onama was speaking in interviews about it openly, happily. I think that's a fantastic fight. I think, what is Yusuf Zalal ranked number 7 in the rankings? I mean, this will be absolutely phenomenal of a fight. I mean, dude, at the end of the day, though, no matter who he steps in there with, I believe it's going to be a top 10 opponent next. This is going to be absolutely great breaking news, and it's going to be amazing to see, okay? Now, the second thing that I want to talk about, absolute controversy once again when it comes to eye pokes. Waldo Cortez was getting bombed on versus Ante Delija. Ante was releasing combinations on him, pushing him up against the fence, rocking him, boom, 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 boom. But as he's doing that, Ante decides to throw a jab. And when he throws that jab at his face, he has his eyes and hands open and eye pokes Waldo Cortez right in the eye. And this is a serious eye injury. Now, I know people were saying that Tom Aspinall wasn't serious because it didn't look bad. Even though it doesn't actually need to look bad, it still could hurt. This one actually looks like it hurt. Waldo Cortez took time. It was controversial too, okay? Because listen, as Ante is bombing on him and he eye pokes him, Waldo Cortez just cuddles up like, oh, and then Ante starts releasing combinations on him. The ref steps in and says, that's it, that's it. And it looks like he stops the fight. The cameraman, everybody, Ante's celebrating with his corner. Everybody comes inside the ring. They sit Waldo Cortez down on the stool, giving him water, working on him. And then all of a sudden, they decide to resume the fight. You know that they cannot, nobody can enter the ring right after an eye poke like that. Not the cameraman, not a stool, not his training people who could sit there and talk to him. None of that was supposed to go down. But another mistake by the refs. Now, the difference between this one and Tom Aspinall's was Waldo Cortez got eye poked in the eye, was getting bombed on, got eye poked. As soon as he takes his 3-5 minutes, he says he can only see 30 to 40%. It gets better, so he eventually carries on with the fight. As soon as they carry on, Waldo Cortez in the first exchange drops Ante with a 1-2, boom, boom, and follows up with absolute dominating ground and pound, and they wave the fight off. It's over. When Ante was dominating that fight, he eye pokes him. As soon as they restart it, Ante gets knocked out. It's a little different than Tom's because, in my opinion, the right person won. It was karma. But once again, we see that eye pokes in the UFC are absolutely detrimental. And this is becoming a problem, man. I know Herb Dean talked about how they're going to have a UFC meeting for this during the week this week. And I think with this Waldo Cortez eye poke and last week's, when you look at the heavyweight division, all the heavyweight fights, what is going on? I mean, dude, it's catastrophe. And in my opinion, it was a great fight. Waldo Cortez got it done, but there's absolutely no way in how that you cannot say that eye poke had to do with it. Remember when Alex Pereira knocked out Jamal Hill right before he got kicked in the balls and he told the ref, no, hold up, back up. Boom, came back with a left hook, sleeped him. Almost the same thing, bro. It's almost, and exactly. But Ante eye pokes Waldo. Waldo says, after the whole 8 minutes of taking care of, all right, let's fight. They start fighting again. He sleeps him. I mean, bro, if I'm Ante, I'm tripping right now, okay? Now, the interesting thing about this card, another thing that I want to talk about, bettors. If you put money on Isaac Dulgarian, nah, bro, nah. There should be an investigation. As soon as this card ended, there should have been an investigation launched on Isaac Dulgarian. And I'm going to tell you why. 30 minutes prior to Isaac Dulgarian's fight, he was a minus 270 favorite. Basically a minus 300. And within 30 minutes, I checked the fight right before it started, even money. Bettors, and even if you're not a bettor, have you ever seen minus 270 and within 30 minutes, even money? Did Isaac Dulgarian tell somebody to put money on him losing by first round submission on purpose to come up or something? Because it's impossible for minus 270 odds to get even in 30 minutes of a fight without something fishy going on. And I'm telling you guys right now, my friends, if that doesn't sound fishy to you, then you might be doing something fishy yourself. Isaac Dulgarian odds flip in 30 minutes. And there needs to be a private investigation, a public investigation, whatever you want to call it, set against Isaac Dulgarian, because I know a lot of people picked him to win that fight. He was the favorite. Some people had him in parlays, okay? And for him to go in there and with the controversy behind that happen like that, wow, man. I honestly think Isaac Dulgarian had a lot to do with this. Why else would the odds change like that? Is somebody plus $2 million right before the fight started? No, man. I think something went down. Absolutely controversial card. But Steve Garcia got it done, and I'm absolutely phenomenally happy because we did a whole video dedicated to him. And my people, what a card. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but at the end of the day, a lot of controversy, a lot of content to be made for us YouTubers and for us people, us fans. Woo! My goodness, my people. Here we go. Until tomorrow. My goodness.